All right, so you've got the basics down. You can hold a conversation, you can get your point across. But how do you take your English from just being good to being, great? Today, we are unlocking the advanced stuff, the structures that give you way more power and precision. This is how you really master your communication. So let's dive in.
Okay, let me ask you something. When you build a sentence, who's really in the driver's seat? Is it the person doing the action? Or maybe the action itself? Or what about the person or thing that's receiving the action? This is the big idea we're exploring today. How you can totally control the focus of every sentence you make.
And let's just see this in action. It's super clear. On the left, we've got the active voice. The manager made a decision. Simple. The spotlight is 100% on the manager. But look at the right. A decision was made. And boom, the manager just disappears. The focus shifts completely to the decision itself. This little change is an incredibly powerful tool.
So here's our roadmap for this journey. First, we're going to master shifting that focus with the passive voice. Then we'll open up an advanced toolbox of passive structures for more formal, kind of sophisticated situations. After that, we'll see how to turn actions into nouns, and then finally, we'll cover the really useful grammar for talking about getting things done for you.
First up, let's completely rethink the passive voice. Seriously, this isn't just some dusty old grammar rule you had to memorize. It's a strategic choice, a tool that lets you guide your listener's attention exactly where you want it to go. So, what's the deal with it, technically speaking? Well, the passive voice is what happens when the subject of your sentence is the one receiving the action, not doing it. Think of it like you're a film director. The active voice is your standard shot. It shows who did what. But the passive voice, that's your zoom lens. It lets you zoom right in, either on the action itself or on the person who is affected by it. And this gets even cooler with verbs that have two objects, like offer. Here, you get a choice. You can put the spotlight on the recipient, the employees were offered a bonus, or you can zoom in on the thing itself, a bonus was offered. See? You are in complete control of where the emphasis goes.
But you can't just use the passive voice everywhere. It's got some ground rules. It just doesn't work with what we call intransitive verbs. Those are verbs that don't have an object, like arrive or sleep. I mean, you can't arrive something, right? So there's nothing that can become the subject of a passive sentence. Same goes for stative verbs, which describe states of being, like have or own. You just wouldn't say a nice house is had by them. It just sounds wrong, because it's not how the language works.
Okay, now that we've got the basics down, let's open up the advanced toolbox. These are the kinds of structures you'll see in news reports, in academic papers, or really any formal situation where you want to sound objective and, frankly, pretty sophisticated.
Now this one is a big one, the passive with reporting verbs. This is the secret sauce of news headlines. It's how you report what people say or it is believed without having to name your source. It just instantly creates this formal, impersonal, and kind of authoritative tone.
You basically got two main ways you can build this. You can start with it, like in the sentence, it is believed that the company will expand. Or you can make the company itself the star of the show. The company is believed to expand. Either way, you get that same formal, objective vibe.
Here is a perfect example of this in the wild. Check out that phrase, to have played. That little bit is called a perfect infinitive. We use it when the reporting part, are known, is happening now in the present, but the action we're talking about, playing hockey, happened way in the past. It's a really elegant and clean way to handle those time shifts. All right, let's switch gears and talk about gerunds. You know, those ing words that kind of act like things, like nouns. A gerund lets you talk about an action as if it's a solid thing. And of course, we can use this in the passive voice too.
The structure is pretty simple. It's just being plus the past participle. So in this example, I enjoyed being asked to his party. The focus isn't on who did the asking. What really matters here is the feeling, right? The speaker's positive experience of receiving that invitation.
Or think about this one. She dislikes being told what to do. Again, it doesn't matter who is telling her. The entire focus is on her negative experience, how she feels about receiving those commands. It's all about the subject's experience. Okay, so from gerunds, we move to their close cousin, the infinitive. Now, if gerunds often treat actions like concrete things or experiences, infinitives tend to treat them more like abstract ideas, possibilities, or things that need to happen.
The passive infinitive is formed with to be plus a past participle. This is your go-to when you're talking about something that needs to get done to the subject. And the documents need to be signed,
The documents aren't doing a thing. They're just sitting there, waiting to receive the action of signing.
So here's the million-dollar question. When do you use a gerund and when do you use an infinitive? And honestly, there's no easy magic rule. It pretty much always depends on that first verb in the sentence. Verbs that are about experiences, like enjoy or avoid, they usually take a gerund. And verbs that are looking forward to the future, like hope or plan, they often take an infinitive. This is one of those things that just comes with practice. So this slide is a great one to bookmark as a reference.
All right, for our last topic, we're diving into something super useful, causatives. This is the grammar of delegation. It's what you use when you don't do something yourself, but you make sure it gets done.
The logic behind this is actually really simple. 1, you want something done. 2, you're not doing it yourself. And 3, you cause someone else to do it for you, whether you're paying them, asking them, or trying to convince them. That's a causative.
This is the absolute classic example. I had my house cleaned. So did I personally scrub the floors? Nope. I arranged for a service. Who actually did the cleaning? Doesn't matter. Just like with the passive voice, the focus here is on the result. My house is now clean.
Okay, but let's dig into the details here, because the verb you choose really matters. Have something done is the standard, maybe a little more formal. Get something done is a bit more casual. But notice what happens when you name the person. I had the electrician look at the light as a simple instruction. But she gets her son to do his homework. That implies persuasion. You can almost hear the "please do your homework" in that sentence.
So, what's the big idea here? Think of it this way. Causatives are like a proactive version of the passive voice. You are still not the one doing the action, but you're the one pulling the strings, causing it to happen. You are back in the driver's seat, controlling the story and making things happen.
And that really brings us full circle. What we've seen today is that advanced grammar isn't about memorizing a bunch of boring rules. It's about having more choices. It's about deciding what you want to put in the spotlight. So it's not just about being correct. It's about being intentional. It's about being a powerful communicator. Now that you know the options, what will you choose to emphasize?